After my last video on 10 classics for beginners, I understood that you guys were interested in classics but not always into those huge intimidating ones. So here is part 2, and trust me, these books are short, powerful and more accessible than you would expect. So welcome back to my reading chunk, and my name is Sahiti, and let's start with the video. So, the first book which I want to talk about is The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway, and this is the copy that I have. And I've recently read this book, and oh my god, I didn't expect this book to be this good. An aging fisherman struggles against nature as he tries to catch a giant merlin, testing his endurance, pride, and spirit. So, if you can see, I've tapped this book quite a bit, and definitely this is on my books to reread. It was really that good, and I've also come to know that this book has sold millions of copies in the first few days of its release. So, just think about how much powerful this small book is. So, overall, this novella is less than 150 pages, and the prose is also very simple and easy to read, and it is also written in a very direct language. Readers who like themes of resilience and human dignity would enjoy this book. I mean, not enjoy in a fun way, but it is a really powerful book. And also, if you always felt like you would never give up in life, or if you're struggling in your life, I think this is a really good book to read because it really inspires you. So the next book which I want to talk about is one of my top favorite books ever, and I feel this is a very important book to read, especially in your 20s, and the book is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I know that this book is really trending on Insta right now and everyone is reading this, but it is popular for a reason, and for a really good reason too. This book is a semi-autobiographical story of a main character, Esther Greenwood, a young woman facing depression, identity struggles and societal pressure. So, writing in this book is very clear, and also it is written in a contemporary language, so it feels very modern and emotionally raw. So, I think this book is perfect for the readers who would like to read about feminist literature, personal struggles, or also psychological depth. One caution which I would, like to give you guys if you want to pick this book is that please don't read this book when you're in a very depressed state. Like, it is a really good book. You can feel connected and relatable, but still, I think this book will, pull you more into the depression. So just read it when you're in a normal mood. So, yeah. So the next book which I would like to talk about is a must read in your life. Like, you must at least read the book once. The book's name is The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. I know most of us have heard about Anne Frank or even read about her in school, but I feel like it was forced upon to us in school and we didn't, like reading about it. But I think now when you're an adult and you read this book, I think it is a perfect time to read, and you will also feel really grateful for the time we live in, and, for the life we have and how much struggles she has faced in her life. It is a personal diary of Anne Frank, a Jewish teen hiding during World War II, documenting both her daily life and her reflection on humanity. So this book is written in simple language with intimate diary entries, which combines youthful honesty with profound insight. Even though this book starts as a silly diary entries by a teenage girl, trust me, this book is totally worth it, and by the end of the book you might be in tears. And I think this book is perfect for readers who like reading about history, resilience and also personal impacts of war. So the next book which I would like to share about is Perfume, the Story of a Murderer by Patrick. And oh my god, this book was such a new perspective for me to read as a reader, because I have read nothing like this. Like, I did read some dark stories, but this was like on a whole new level. So set in the 18th century France, the novel follows Jean, a man born with extraordinary sense of smell. He obsesses with creating the perfect fragrance, which eventually leads him to dark and disturbing crimes. Basically, that is the whole plot of the story. So we have this young man who has born with an extraordinary sense of smell since his childhood. So this man particularly has no smell on his body, but he can, smell every other fragrance in the world. So instead of using this gift to his advantage, he tries to use it, for various other reasons which are very dark and disturbing. So if you read the book, you would know. And this was very interesting read, and how a human mind can think like, and this was a very new experience for me. And the ending of this book was a nightmare to read. I felt very disturbed. I couldn't sleep that night because the images after I read which were in my head were really, really creepy. Oh, this book is literary and atmospheric. I think this book is very gripping, and it immerses the readers into the sensory world of sense. So what I liked mostly in this book was that mostly in books, when you read, it is about, the visual representation, like how this building looks like, what color it is, how many, floors are there in this building. It is all that kind of description. But in this book, it was totally different. Like it is mostly the description of the buildings or the house or streets or a person. It is all described through smells, and like it was really good, and I could still imagine and have a clear imagination of how the world is like, and that was a really good experience. I think if you read this book, you will understand more. I think readers who are interested in historical fiction with, lots of twists and dark and disturbing psychological themes would enjoy this book a lot. The next book which I want to talk about is No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai, and this book is by a Japanese author. The book is a haunting tale of Oba, a man who feels alienated from society and documents his struggles with identity, shame, and despair. I don't have the physical copy with me because I think I've read it in my Kindle around 2 to 3 years back, and this book also had a very new perspective for me. This book is short, intimate, and also written in a very straightforward language despite its heavy themes. So readers who like reading modern classics about existential crisis and Japanese literature, I think this is the perfect book for you. So the next book which I want to talk about is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. So this is my first Shirley Jackson book ever, and I was left speechless after reading this book, and this became my recent favorite book. We have two sisters and their uncle who live in solitude after a family tragedy, surrounded by mystery, superstition, and suspicion from local villagers. So this novel is narrated by Mary Cat, one of the sisters, and she is also a very unreliable narrator, and she has an unhealthy obsession over her sister, and that was very creepy to read. But this book was definitely a must read if you like, horror themes or dark, disturbing psychological themes. I think this book would be perfect. Actually, this book is very short and it has unsettling family drama with gothic undertones. So if you like these kind of books, I think you would like it. And I heard this book as an audiobook on Audible, but I don't have a physical copy, but I really want to get a physical copy so that I can read it again and annotate. The last two books which I want to talk about are by the same author, William Shakespeare, and these are the only two plays which I've read. Actually, these are plays, not exactly novels, so I just wanted to, talk about them in the end of the video. So the first one is Macbeth, and the second one is A Midsummer's Night Dream. So first, let's start with Macbeth by William Shakespeare. A Scottish general, spurred by prophecy by the witches and ambition, murders his way to power only to be destroyed by guilt and paranoia. Macbeth is actually my personal favorite, and I've read it only once, but definitely I'm going to reread. So some of the lines in this play are also really popular, and I think you might have heard it in other series or books, or it's like always mentioned. This book is actually really dramatic and also has a lot of cold blood murders happening inside. This book is a short tragedy full of action, witches, and memorable lines. So modern guys will help you, read through the book. You might think it is very old. Actually, the language is very old. I had to watch the play first and then watch few summary videos on YouTube. And also while I was reading, whenever I felt difficult, I used to, read from Spark Notes, like the lines which I didn't understand, I used to decode from it. You can't read it in one sitting, even though the book is really short. You have to really sit with the book because the language is really old, but it is totally worth it. I'm sure that anyone who reads Macbeth or the other book is going to enjoy Shakespeare's work. This book is really great for beginners who want to get into Shakespeare work and also like, dark and fast moving plots. So the next book is A Midsummer's Night Dream, a comedy set in a magical forest where fairies, mischievous spells, and mistaken identities complicate the lives of young lovers. This play is very light, playful, and very short, and it is completely opposite to the other book of Shakespeare which I've spoken. That is like very dark, but this is like very chill, playful, and I think you would enjoy reading this book. It is very whimsical too. Readers who like reading whimsical fantasy or humorous writings would enjoy this book a lot. So if you want to read these two books, so my advice would be first watch the play or at least the summary in YouTube, and then start reading. And when you start reading, probably you won't understand any of the language he has used. So I think it would be better if you read the notes in Google, which are mostly translated into modern language. Like the first time you read, I think it is better to just understand the plot. You don't have to understand every single line, but it would be easy. So if you read second time and third time, you will really start understanding, by reading the old language. Actually, this story was really funny. Even if you watch the summary or the play of this book, I think you would fall in love with this. So, this is my list of 8 more classics for you to read, which are short, accessible, and incredibly impactful. So the first book which I would say is Belja by Sylvia Plath, because I felt the book was very, very relatable to me when I read this book 2 years back. So this is going to be on my top favorite always. So the next book would be The Old Man and the Sea and Anne Frank in the second position, because both of them talk about human resilience and how not to give up in life when difficult situations are thrown at you. I think these two are perfect for this kind of theme. And the next book I think would be We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I'm sure not everyone would like this book, but I feel I want to reread this book. It was a very interesting read from an unreliable narrator. Also, let me know if you've read any of the books from the list which I've mentioned. And if you have any book recommendations which you would like to give, please leave them in the comments, because I'm always looking to add new books in my TBR list. Also, if you still haven't watched part 1 yet, please go and do that. I would link the video, and I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye.